In the world of hip-hop, few names are as iconic as Tupac, Snoop Dogg, and JayZ. These three legends have left an incredible mark on the genre, each with their own unique style and approach. But behind the scenes, there's a story that's been brewing for years. Recently, Snoop Dogg made a bombshell claim stating that JayZ was jealous of Tupac. As the hip-hop community buzzes with this shocking revelation, we delve deeper into the complex relationships between these titans of rap and explore the truth behind Snoop's explosive statement. Before we explore Snoop's recent claim, we must first understand the history between JayZ and Tupac. The two rappers were never on good terms, and their feud has been the subject of much speculation and debate. What caused their animosity? The answer may surprise you. Tupac, also known as Tupac Shakur, was a highly influential rapper and actor who rose to fame in the early 1990s. He was born on June 16, 1971 in East Harlem, New York City, and grew up in the Bronx and later in Marin City, California. He began his career as a backup dancer for the hip-hop group Digital Underground and later released his debut solo album, Tupacalypse Now, in 1991. Tupac's music often dealt with themes of social inequality, racism, and inner-city life. He became known for his powerful lyrics, intense delivery, and willingness to address controversial topics. Some of his most famous rap songs include California Love, Dear Mama, and Changes. Throughout his career, Tupac was involved in a number of high-profile conflicts and legal issues, including feuds with other rappers and his highly publicized 1994 shooting. He continued to release albums and pursue acting roles until his ultimate death on September 13, 1996 in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. On September 7, 1996, Tupac attended a Mike Tyson boxing match at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. After the fight, he and his entourage got into a physical altercation with a member of the Crips gang in the lobby of the MGM Grand. Later that night, as Tupac and his crew were driving away from the casino in a black BMW sedan, a white Cadillac pulled up beside them at a red light and opened fire. Tupac was hit 4 times, including once in the chest, and was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery. Despite initially surviving the shooting, he developed complications and died on September 13, 1996, at the age of 25. Tupac enjoys perhaps the most loyal fan base that a rap artist has ever had. It's quite a cult-like base that will forever hold Tupac's name at the top, and nobody could ever come close to his spot. Just take a look at some of these comments. My favorite rapper ever. People fail to hate on Tupac by saying let him rest. Even after death, he's still the most talked about rapper ever. This is legend status. Pac is legend. Holds the test of time. That's it. That's all. Imagine over 2 decades later, he is still being talked about. In his own words, I'll be a legend, breathing or dead. He saw all this. The investigation into Tupac's murder remains unsolved, with numerous theories and conspiracies surrounding the events of that night. Some have speculated that the shooting was connected to his ongoing feuds with other rappers and the East Coast-West Coast hip-hop rivalry. Others have suggested that it may have been related to his activism and outspokenness on issues of race and social justice. One of the people who took Pac's loss straight to the heart was Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg and Tupac had a close relationship, with Snoop serving as one of Tupac's closest confidants in the hip-hop community. In the aftermath of Tupac's death, Snoop was deeply affected and spoke openly about the loss of his friend and mentor. In a 2015 interview with MTV News, Snoop reflected on the impact of Tupac's death, saying, "It was like losing Elvis Presley or something. It was like the biggest thing in the world to me. I couldn't believe it was happening." He went on to describe the effect that Tupac's death had on the hip-hop community, saying, "It was like, where do we go from here? We had just lost our general. It was like we lost a part of ourselves." Snoop has also spoken about the influence that Tupac had on his own career and style, encouraging him to be more politically and socially engaged in his music. In a 2017 interview with Billboard, Snoop said, "Tupac was one of the biggest inspirations in my life because of the way he would always spit that real. He was the one who taught me to never be scared of who I was and to always stay true to myself." And in an interview with Impulsive, Snoop Dogg opened up and explained the situation from his perspective. Snoop saw Pac that very next day of the shooting while he was in the hospital, and this is what he had to say about how it all went down.
So we haven't even seen Pac.
Yep.
We just talking to Suge, and he got the head wrapped up, and he telling us
God.
what happened, and Pac gonna be all right. He gonna pull through. He got. 9 times before he gonna be alright. They hit me in the head. So we feeling like it's gonna be alright until we go to the hospital and see that it ain't alright. He got tubes in him, and it's like when I walked in, I could just feel like he wasn't even there, and I fainted. Then his mother, got me up and walked me in the bathroom and had a conversation with me about being strong. She was like, "My baby ain't never seen you weak. I don't want you to be weak in front of me."
Snoop Dogg has often spoke about the impact that Tupac had on the hip-hop community and the world at large, and has suggested that he believes that Tupac's influence could have continued to grow if he had not been killed. In a 2016 interview with Rolling Stone, Snoop said, "If Tupac was still alive, he would definitely be doing movies. He'd definitely be acting. He'd definitely be more involved in the community. He'd definitely be doing more social work. He'd definitely have a bigger platform to speak on the issues that's going on right now." Snoop has also spoken about the potential impact that Tupac could have had on the political landscape, saying in a 2017 interview with Billboard, "If Tupac was alive, he'd be at the forefront of Black Lives Matter, of prison reform, of everything that's going on in society right now, because that's what he stood for. He stood for making the world a better place." But while Pac was still with us, there's been some tension going on between him and JayZ, who is now considered by many to be one of the GOATs of the rap game. The beef between Hoover and Pac always starts with the famous diss track that JayZ recorded in response to disses from Tupac Shakur, but ultimately decided not to release. The track called "I'm Not a Writer" was recorded in the mid-1990s during the height of the East Coast-West Coast feud that had engulfed the hip-hop world. Tupac first dissed JayZ on a track called "Bomb First, My Second Reply," which was released in 1996. JayZ was frustrated by Tupac's criticism of his perceived lack of street credibility and his use of the term "thug life," which Tupac felt he had popularized. JayZ's decision not to release the track may have been influenced by a desire to avoid further escalating an already tense situation. The feud between Tupac and other East Coast rappers, including JayZ, had contributed to a climate of violence and distrust that ultimately led to the deaths of Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. Despite the tensions between them, JayZ has spoken in interviews about his respect for Tupac's artistry and his regret that the two were never able to collaborate or reconcile their differences. He also expressed admiration for Tupac's willingness to speak out on social and political issues, and has cited him as an inspiration for his own work as an artist and entrepreneur. While there is no concrete evidence that jealousy was a major factor in the beef between JayZ and Tupac, it's possible that some of the envy or resentment may have existed between the two artists. As we discussed earlier, Tupac was known for his outspoken personality and willingness to speak his mind, which may have rubbed some people in the industry the wrong way. JayZ, on the other hand, was known for his more measured approach and strategic thinking, which helped him build a successful career in the music business. As for Beyonce, there have been rumors and speculations over the years about a political romantic connection between her and Tupac, but there is no hard evidence to support this claim. It's worth noting that Beyonce and JayZ have spoken in interviews about their admiration for Tupac's music and legacy, and there is no reason to believe that the alleged love triangle between them was ever a real issue. Ultimately, it's impossible to know for sure what might have happened if Tupac had lived longer, but his impact on the music world is still felt to this day, regardless of any hypothetical romantic relationships he may or may not have had. Big Gip, the famous rapper and member of the hip-hop group Goody Mob, had something to say about JayZ, Beyonce, and Tupac. This love triangle would have played out quite differently if Pac was still here with us. If you ask Gip, Beyonce would have gone with Tupac if he was still alive, not Hoover. This controversial opinion of his comes from an interview he did just a few months ago.
If Pac was here, if Pac was here, who you think the girl would have been with? Hold up. Hold up. It's about being with the biggest, huh? Who would do it the most? You still can't act. You can't do no movies. You can't do what Pac was doing. Come on, how can you be better than Pac?
People seem to agree with Gip all the way. One comment said, "If he had lived, he would have smoked everything walking. I couldn't agree with you more, Gip." Enough said. Did you agree with Gip? Was Pac that good that he would have taken Beyonce from JayZ? Let us know what you think too in the comment section below. Thanks for watching the video and sticking with us to the very end. And as always, remember to keep it RIZZLE.